Morning, Kris. Just maybe take us through the mindset of what the goal is here in this little break you guys have between rounds. Is it just getting everybody on the same page now you're able to do some homework on the Dallas Stars?
Yeah, today we presented a little bit on Dallas and what their identity is, a little bit on their systems, their goaltender, stuff like that. And optional practice today, and then tomorrow we'll have full practice before we head out to Dallas. So I think it's just, obviously the rest is really important for our guys, and just everyone's got their bumps and bruises, and make the most of that. But also, there's no benefit of practicing consecutive days this point of the year. We're not changing our systems. We're not introducing anything. It's just staying sharp. And I think with the time that we have, we just had a couple quality practices and then get ready for that game one.
Kris, how does this Dallas Stars team differ from the one you saw last year, beginning with Mikko Rantanen?
I think their style of play is almost identical. I don't think they've changed anything with their systems or really how they approach the game. With the trade with Rantanen, obviously being the biggest one, that changes their identity a little bit. Looking through the rosters from last year, from our team to theirs, I think each team has probably 5 or 6 new players. So, the team is a little bit different, but I think the identity of the systems that each one's playing is very similar.
I want to ask you about John Klingberg. Obviously, he was playing his best hockey when he was in Dallas, came back, and now he's playing some of his best hockey again. I guess can you just maybe have a thought on the chance you guys took on him and the payoff you're getting here in the playoffs?
Well, I don't think you can ever have enough good defensemen. Defensemen are so important, especially in the playoff time. With anytime you have injuries and guys having to step up, and because it's not as if a forward, you insert a forward, you can shelter that forward. You can, in fact, play with 11 forwards as opposed to 12, and a lot of teams do on a regular basis. But when you lose a defenseman, he's coming in. He's probably playing minimum 15 minutes, and you need him being a good player if he's playing that many minutes and in so many situations. As for John has been playing really well, and he hasn't played much hockey in the last year or so. And then even when he came with us at the end of January, we had the Four Nations break, some injuries, and just it wasn't a long stretch of play for him. But, he came in the lineup for Game 2 against LA, and since then he's just been building his game and getting better and better. And, a lot of his shifts, a lot of his time now has been with Wallman. They seem to have some chemistry together. But, we're very fortunate that Stan could see the importance of adding a player like John.
Have you kind of been surprised by his play? Are you a guy that goes, wow, he's playing really well, we're going to get him back out there? Or did you feel that this was in him as soon as he gets healthy, as long as he gets healthy?
We knew he was a good player. That's why we signed him. We knew he could help us. What was unknown was his health. You can have all the reports and medical expertise to tell us exactly how he's going to feel, how he's going to respond on the ice, but until you see it and then him having the confidence to play his game the way he's comfortable doing, there is uncertainty. So, we knew there was a good player. Whether it was all going to fit, time was just going to be tell. And obviously it's something that's worked out well for us.
Have you felt this year that there's been a little bit more of an us against the world mentality from your group, just given maybe fewer people picked you to go deep, you'd had the injury issues, just in some of the way that the players have even talked a little bit, it's like there's this sense that people didn't believe in this year's team, and that's been motivation for you guys.
Yeah, well, especially with the at the end of the season. We kind of limped into the playoffs with so many unknowns. Leon was hurt. He hadn't played for 2 or 3 weeks before that first playoff game. Connor was in and out of the lineup. We lost Ekholm. Hyman hadn't played. Trent Frederick, Evander Kane. There was a lot of unknowns, and we're also lined up with first round playoffs against the team that had been the best team in the playoffs, in the second half of the regular season. So it was daunting. It was a difficult start for us. So I could see the uncertainty in people not picking us to have long success. But, being the underdog, that's fine. We're okay with that. I think what's just important is the guys stick together and want to do this collectively.
Your power play is obviously well respected and I'm sure well scouted. Do you feel that it can get back to the sorts of levels we've seen from it in the past, or is it just sort of a reality that if teams choose to focus on it a certain way, that it might have to be your 5-on-5 game, and it's not necessarily going to find that high end?
Power plays always go through ebbs and flows, and sometimes it's just not sharp. It's not clicking. Other times it's the other team's doing a good job shutting it down. The other time it's just being unlucky, not being able to capitalize on your chances. And sometimes you just score on bunches when the power play hadn't looked that much better than it had the previous 10 games when it wasn't scoring. And right now I'm not sure how many power play opportunities we've had, but it hasn't been many. We haven't had many power plays. It's not like it's been after about 100 opportunities, how good your power play is. But when you're only getting 2 or maybe 3 a night, then it's easy not to score. Even though it might be executing, looking good, getting quality scoring chances, the puck's just not going in the net, then it can get often skewed. And right now, especially that last round, I believe we had 1 power play goal, but I think we had our opportunities. And, once we don't get those opportunities, then it's a different story.
Do you expect Matthias Ekholm to be skating with your group soon? And is the plan to have him on the road with you?
We haven't decided that yet, if he's traveling or not. I think if he is able to join us sometime during this series, it'd be a huge bonus for us. And right now, he's on the ice with our optional skate right now. It's like I said, it's day to day, but whether he joins us at some point in this series, we'd be very fortunate to have him.
That uncertainty you were talking about heading into the playoffs, did you guys feel that yourselves as coaches? Did you kind of have to wait to see what you had here, or did you know that it was only going to be a match?
We had an understanding that a lot of the guys were really close to returning and being available very early in the playoff series, whether that was game 1 or at some point. But that being said, we didn't know how the team was going to respond, who's going to play with who was going to be in certain situations. And, that for the coaching staff, we were uncertain about. But as for their health, we had a pretty good understanding about when guys would be available and when they were going to be able to play. And there were certain guys that probably could have played if it had been playoffs at the end of the season. And we felt that why push that? It's important that, hopefully we've got a long playoff run, and why have them play banged up through that entire time when they could really benefit with some more time off.
So you start 0-2, not a great start to the playoffs. You're 8-1 since. What happened? Was that experience kicking in? Or are you just gelling a little bit? Or
I think a lot of it just gelling. You look at guys who just come back after those injuries, Evander Kane, Trent Frederick. Those are 2 that haven't been playing very much hockey for a long period of time, and then they come in and, they got off to a solid start. Were they at the top of the game? No, but they've been continuing getting better and better, and especially Evander. Even that second game, I think he was almost top form. He looked really good then. With many other guys. I think a lot of it had just gelling, and also myself, just knowing who should be playing together and who should be out for certain situations.
24 power plays in 11 games, 6 for 10 at home. Those are the numbers. But I want to ask you about the PK. You deployed Connor and Hyman in your third pairing, but you've got Kapanen back now. Is that an option for you to use Kasperi in the penalty kill, or do you still envision having Connor and Zach out there as well in the rotation?
We've got a lot of options. Podkolzin and Kapanen together were a really good pair for us, and they're pretty much our third pair, but regularly we use them, and we have a lot of confidence in them. So right now we've got really 4 pairs that we could use for forwards, and all 4 of them we have a lot of confidence in. And I guess we have to decide on Connor and Zach, if we use them and how much we use them. As you know, if we use them on the penalty kill, it's probably taken away a little bit of our offensive attack. But we have a lot of confidence in them in the penalty kill, that they are good at that. And when you do have a kill, the most important thing is having that kill. So I don't know. I think we're in a position that we've got a lot of good options.
You're playing a well-coached team with great special teams, but they did run 11-7 the last couple of games. How important is it for you to stick rolling the 4 lines over like you did all the way through the overtime the other night in Vegas?
Whether they go 11 forwards or 12, their depth is good. Like, they've got a lot of good forwards that can play more minutes, and if they do go 11, certainly there's a lot of forwards that they can double shift. So it's not that they're playing shorthanded there at all. I think our strength is our forwards also. We have a lot of depth, and they can play in certain situations and against other teams' top lines. And I think we had a lot of success in the first 2 rounds because of the contributions from all our forwards. And I think it's important that if we're going to have success going forward, that we have to have the same mindset.
Just building off of that last question, I was also going to ask about the shifts in overtime, because you had all 4 guys coming. Can you maybe talk about that element of trust and what that does for you as a head coach to have trust in each line, especially at this stage of the season, Kris?
Yeah, it helps a lot, especially during the Vegas series. And you could see the guys getting worn down. And it had only been a 5-game series, but it was a grinding series. It was hard, a lot of hitting, a lot of tight checking, and there wasn't a lot of space. It takes a toll out of everybody. And the fact that we hit overtime and we could still play everybody, and a lot of that, the 4 lines, the dependability of Janmark playing on that 4th line gives me a lot of confidence. But we got a almost 20-goal scorer. Corey Perry was on that 4th line. Trent Frederick, who we gave up a lot of assets for, we have a lot of confidence in him that he can play a key situation. So we've got a lot of good hockey players. So there's no reason to be sheltering anybody, because we feel that they can help us, and they have.